on the SNES is hands down one of the best movie-based games. And I'm sure the one on the Genesis was great too, but I never played it. We're talking side-scrolling platforming goodness by the one and only Capcom. It follows the movie relatively faithfully, the first level having you run through the Agrabah marketplace. Yeah, it's kind of weird how many SNES games I've played that have you run through a Middle Eastern-themed bazaar. That number being more than one. But just the controls are so smooth, and the mechanics lend themselves to Aladdin's character. Hopping off of enemies, acrobating off poles, really gives the sense you're a plucky street orphan just getting by. You know how it goes. Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat, gotta throw apples at palace guards. No? Whatever. After the market, it's a trip through the Cave of Wonders, which, for some reason, the music in this stage always resonated with me. Even though it may be one of the few songs that isn't from the movie, they somehow managed to create original songs that still fit the vibe of Aladdin. Oh yeah, if you catch a golden scarab during a level, you get to spin the genie wheel at the end, which basically guarantees extra lives or health. Which is why I already have 2 extra heart containers only a couple stages in. This game gives extra health away like candy. Not that extra hearts really do me much good. The bats and animated swords I can handle. It's the gaping holes into the void that are generally what trip me up. That and lava. Yeah, extra hearts don't seem to help with that either. When I was a kid, this lava chase would give me hardcore anxiety. But now as an adult, it's the genie level that takes place afterwards. A lot of areas where simple mistakes will kill you. This game isn't hard per se. In fact, it's arguably pretty damn easy, but it certainly has its challenging parts. I like the face Genie makes when you die. It's not just shock and horror, there's dismay in that expression as well. I mean, he did just indirectly kill Aladdin by putting him in this situation out of, I guess, fun. Poor Al didn't even get one wish in yet. The other major diversion from the movie is when Abu falls off of carpet and ends up in an ancient pyramid where the boss is Abu possessed by an Egyptian mask? What the hell was that about? And why does it only take one hit to finish the fight? It's like there didn't even need to be a boss fight to begin with. But after that level is the best part of the game. The carpet ride scene with Aladdin and Jasmine, but there's no enemies, no tidal waves of molten lava, it's just collectibles. This game, again, is pretty easy to beat in one sitting, especially for Capcom standards, and there's absolutely no need for the player to get a breather like this, but just the fact that they made a level where you can't die, just collect, I don't know, it just feels like a really nice way to adapt the movie to a game. This is the upturn in the plot, where everything is going great, and the game symbolizes that with a stress-free romp where you enjoy the graphics and, of course, the masterfully renditioned remake of A Whole New World. Then in the story, we've got action again, as Aladdin gets sent to the ends of the earth. And it's here I'm expecting a snow-themed level, right? Maybe have you run away from the rolling tower, like in the movie. At the end of it, you save Abu, who's buried in the snow. But no, the next level is back in Agrabah to face Jafar. Huh. Seems like a pretty obvious part of the movie to expand upon and make into a side-scrolling stage, but okay. How did Aladdin get back to Agrabah in the movie? It's one of those things that isn't really explained. How would they have known how to get back? Which direction to go? Even the game just immediately has Aladdin back in Agrabah, the whole rocketed to the ends of the earth still being only a minor inconvenience for our hero. Of course, the game ends with a knockdown dragout against Jafar, both man and reptile. I remember back in the day I found the password for the final boss stage in a Nintendo Power, so for whatever reason I would rent this game all the time just to use the password to skip straight to the boss and beat the game. I was a weird kid. Again, I'm gonna have to reiterate just how easy this game is, but that's only because it just still blows my mind how much this contrasts from the games Capcom is famous for. It's like I know the genie bonus wheel between stages isn't Capcom's way of apologizing for making the Yellow Devil, but I choose to believe it is. I have to wonder if the accessibility of this game helped in making it the beloved title it is. That and the music, gameplay, design, the movie it's based on, yeah, I'm sure those help too. That, or if it being based off of a kid's movie had something to do with it being easy in the first place. Yeah, I don't know, would Capcom have been that considerate? Nah. But I suppose I should enjoy how easy the game is while it lasts. Because the next game I want to talk about is The Lion King for the SNES. It's the total opposite of the Aladdin game in that people seem to be fond of it despite it being hard as balls. This time made by Virgin Interactive Entertainment and Westwood Studios. Don't be fooled by the words Virgin and Disney on that title screen. This game is out to fucking destroy you. What gets me is how deviously it sideswipes you with how hard it really is. The first level is super simple and super short. Just your basic platforming and squashing things. But then level 2 not only introduces you to instant death pits, but also turbo tunnel segments requiring ninja-like reflexes, precision platforming and coordination, and a fucking swinging monkey puzzle. This is where I personally gave up on this game as a kid. I remember I played it at a neighbor's and we spent what must have been like hours on this one fucking level. Oh yeah, man, Lion King on SNES. That game was awesome. A lot of fond memories. Ugh, you better believe I'm playing this on easy mode, because the biggest difference to normal is it gives you more lives, which honestly is just a quality of life upgrade, both figuratively and literally, and not necessarily a way to make the game any easier. Yes, game, I would prefer to have more chances per run to figure out the layout of a level and learn its bullshit mechanics without having to restart the whole game over again. Call it whatever you want. But in all seriousness, these hippos can suck my asshole. It makes no sense. What's the trick here? What am I not getting? The best I could come up with is to aim Simba at the leftmost portion of the hippo's cheeks, but even that doesn't seem to work a lot of the time. I swear, every single time the game asks me to reliably swing off an object, I get a fucking aneurysm. Look at this! Also, this dumb monkey took me forever to beat. Hardest boss fight in the Lion King game, and it's a monkey that wasn't even in the movie. But after that, things really start to pick up as you finally get to play as grown-up Simba, smacking the shit out of all who stand in his way. This is just a palate cleanser, though. Turns out you need more than just a firm pimp hand to rise the ranks of kinghood. Makes sense. Can't claw through lava, after all. Man, Uncle Scar really let the Serengeti go during his tenure. This level features the second hardest boss in this game, a volcano. That is, after you realize that this thing is sort of a boss. Maybe not so much a boss, but a timed endurance trial. Every time one of these goes off, rocks fall from the ceiling, and you just don't get hit. After a while, the various vents get plugged up, and you win. I don't know if this is the right way to avoid the rocks, but I would crouch on a non-erupting vent and avoid the rocks semi-successfully. It worked for the most part, but felt really awkward and clunky, so I don't know if it was the right way to go about it. I'm just grasping at straws here at this point. This cat's just about spent all of his 9 lives. Well, okay, not really. I mean, look, I've been save scumming a lot on an emulator just to get to this point, so it's more like 30 plus lives if you really wanted to keep track, which I don't. Thank God it's the showdown with Scar shortly after this. 3 times, with swing segments in between. Badass. Okay, this is embarrassing, but at first I didn't know how you're supposed to beat Scar. It shouldn't be surprising because the game doesn't really explicitly tell you what you're supposed to do, but I should have sensed something was up. I resigned to simply slapping the shit out of Scar, as you do, and even found a pretty reliable rhythm of slapping him and then leaping over to the other side to do it again. Problem is, this method, and I counted, takes roughly 100 hits for him to finally fuck off to the next segment. And, like an idiot, I just assume that's how the game was in its own screwed up way. Until the final confrontation when I finally realized the game wasn't ending. Scar was simply refusing to turn into hyena food. Turns out the real way to beat Scar is to throw him, which I knew was a thing, but didn't know how I got it to work. It would just happen randomly. You have to use a panting animation as your cue to jump on top of him and push B or something. Not only is this necessary to toss Scar off of Pride Rock and finally finish the game, but is all you really have to do to end the previous 2 confrontations without resorting to, smacking him 100 times. So again, I feel like an idiot for not realizing I was doing it wrong. But with a skip, a hop, and a wrestling move, I finished The Lion King. Where, again, I have to wonder where the love and nostalgia for it came from. And maybe I'm just generalizing here, but I feel like I can't be the only one who later sought this game out to play again and expecting it to be fun, only to just be completely baffled by the difficulty. I mean, it is fun and certainly well made. Again, animation, design, the movie it's based on, they're all great, and is another game I'd rent all the time to play, but I wouldn't wish this kind of frustrating gameplay on my worst enemy. Now the third Disney SNES game I'd rent all the time was The Jungle Book. Yeah, that old classic, which is designed in such a way that certainly sets itself apart from the other 2, and that design being a chaotic and fast-paced mess with tiny 1-pixel projectiles and climbables and platforms that blend into the background. It's impossible to tell where you are and where danger is coming from before BAM! Welcome to the jungle, motherfucker! Oh, Baloo, for God's sake, save me! Oh, thanks, Baloo. This game design actually reminds me of Earthworm Jim, probably because they were both developed by David Perry. At least the animation is nice and fluid. I like Mowgli's little dance between stages. But again, coming from the faithful and smooth Aladdin and Lion King games, this is just such a weird change of pace, and it feels kind of alien compared to the other 2. Like, I'm not learning how to get past each level, I'm just running for my life and hoping I make it to the end with it intact. I think the lack of anything from the source material has a lot to do with the eeriness of the game as well. It has the music, I'm Mowgli. Hey look, it's that elephant kid acting as a checkpoint. But everything else feels so random. Take the enemies you face, for example. I mean, I get they had to take liberties with it. The Jungle Book doesn't lend itself to a lot of good video game obstacles, other than maybe monkeys and snakes. But spitting plants, piranhas, anteaters, ant hills. There's even an owl that I'm pretty sure is straight out of Bambi. There is a boss fight against Kaa, who is... yeah, he's pretty damn tough. It's his stupid homing projectiles. I don't know how you're supposed to dodge them. I found a hidden invincibility power-up right before you face him, but it only lasts so long, so I just tried to pelt him with as much as I could before it ran out. I did eventually beat him this way, but I just barely slithered by. It was like a roll of the dice, and Kaa rolled snake eyes. Oh good, more swinging mechanics. Maybe I've just gotten worse at this shit as I've grown older, but holy hell is it frustrating. And talking, singing jungle creatures, I'll accept, but a giant parrot that Mowgli can ride on? Well, that's just going too far. So the farthest into the game I could handle was up to King Louie's boss fight, who was a joke compared to Kaa. All you have to do is hit the monkeys playing instruments up top to distract him. But then after that, it's one of those auto-scrolling levels that requires more precision platforming, and yeah, I think we're gonna move on. Compared to Lion King and Aladdin, this game is certainly an oddball of the Disney SNES games I've had a history of playing, which makes it extra weird that it's included in the Switch bundle. There are at least 2 other Disney games they could have put there instead, but as we'll see, they're a bit odd too. Take Pinocchio, please. Again, the animation and design are amazing and pay a lot of attention to detail, which makes sense given this game was again made by Virgin Interactive and Disney Interactive. back when attention to detail was something Disney still gave a shit about. Pinocchio's side-scrolling journey focuses on his mission given by the Blue Fairy to obtain basic human virtues: truth, bravery, and unselfishness. So after a weird romp through the streets... oh. What the hell just happened? Pinocchio achieves the Badge of Truth. Well, sure, yeah, it's hard not to be truthful when you're already this confused. Then it's the level where Jiminy beats the crap out of moths. Very integral to the plot. But next, it's Pinocchio performing for Stromboli's puppet show. It's a dirt simple memorization mini-game, but it is a nice way to incorporate the scene from the movie into a game. This adaptation at least attempted to do more than just straight up platforming. But then Pleasure Island happens, and look, for real this time, I don't know what the hell is going on. This stage you just follow the asshole kid to the end of the level, with little to no obstacles, and then, I guess, take a balloon and fly back to the beginning of the stage? What was the point of that? You could have taken that whole bit out and have lost nothing. Or at least put something here to do, like the Pleasure Island roller coaster, which requires a lot of memorization because you have to be lightning quick to react in time for a lot of these obstacles. And every time you die, you have to watch this animation. You're not allowed to skip it. This, I can only assume, is the game's idea of punishment for dying. And given how often and frequently death can occur during the roller coaster segment, yeah, it can get really annoying really fast. But after surviving that, all hell breaks loose, and you have to help a half-donkey Pinocchio fight his way through child traffickers. Huh. Hey, after all these years of watching that movie, and it only now just sunk in. And what joy. It's another case of the walls and platforms existing depending on the arbitrary whim of the level designer. Ah, yeah, see, that's a wall apparently. Oh, yep, can't jump up there. Obviously. The end of the level has a showdown against the coachman guy, who, much like Scar, just needs the old Disney villain vertical drop. Did the Blue Fairy just reward Pinocchio for killing a guy? Nothing proves bravery more than taking another person's life, I guess. After a brief underwater level, which isn't the worst one I've had to play, we come face to face with Monstro. Man, that's terrifying. Naturally, the next level is collecting firewood to smoke out Monstro. At least, I think that's what you're supposed to be doing. I've been all up and down this shipwreck labyrinth accumulating wood, but then I reached the bottom and ended the level? So, I guess I collected enough? Did I have to collect any at all? I don't know, does the amount I've collected affect Monstro in the last stage when you paddle away and dodge obstacles or something? Whatever. I beat Pinocchio on the SNES within less than an hour, and only had a few challenges to overcome. Yeah, this game's pretty stupid easy. And not in the sense where Aladdin was easy for how much it gave you for free. It's more easy in the sense that it feels wrong for how little effort it took. So much so that I played it again on a harder difficulty, just to see if it would be better. And it turns out the game changes quite a bit between difficulties. Each level seems to add more obstacles and lengthens the distance to the goal. The first level, for instance, now has me jumping on rooftops and avoiding bullies in a maze of alleyways and streets. Jiminy's row with the moths now drop other insects to interfere with the fight. I can only assume Jiminy owes these guys money or something. But then, Stromboli's, I got stuck, because I think the game broke. No matter what I do at this part, I get tomatoes thrown at me. Spin, right, spin, left, kick. Spin, right, spin, left, kick. What the hell? Maybe the other kick? What the hell do you want from me, game? Alright, the last game I wanted to cover is Beauty and the Beast. This one developed by Probe Entertainment and published by Hudson Soft. So this time we're really talking the black sheep of Disney SNES games, and it certainly shows. It's still a side-scrolling platformer. taking the role of Beast as he survives traversing his own damn castle. And it has some of the same problems I've complained about in the other games, but this one has its own special set of jank as well, like the platforming itself. It's hard to explain, but Beast is weirdly magnetized to the edge of platforms and does a hop whenever getting too close. I've never seen anything like this before in a game, and it makes precision jumping a pain in the ass. Or how about the time limit you get each level? Yeah, the rose is an indication of how much time you have left, which in and of itself is fine. I just really don't like being timed. But you get plenty of time to make mistakes and get through each level, except for the boss fight with this gargoyle. Yeah, had to create some new boss fights to spice things up. Of course there's the wolves, Gaston, and, I mean, a gargoyle makes sense. The castle is alive, but why do I have to fight it multiple times? It wouldn't be so bad if, again, the damn time limit didn't keep killing me. Also, why are the continues Cogsworth's continues? Why do you have to roar to make platforms appear? Or freeze bats in place to use as platforms? Why are the rats so damn fast? Why is this game playing Kill the Beast when I'm only on the 3rd stage? What, is the lynch mob already after me? Or Gaston's song playing when trying to save Belle from the wolves? Okay, alright, here's a fun bit. It's a little mini game where you catch snowballs with Belle, like in the movie. Wait, I lost? I lost the game because I didn't catch a fucking snowball? What, did she not fall in love with the Beast because he has shitty hand-eye coordination? What kind of sense does that make? Yeah, you know what? She can have the fucking library. Yeah, and I hope the disappearing platforms and gargoyle boss give her a fucking brain embolism. And there you have it. You fall down the rabbit hole of Disney SNES games and you still find garbage. In fact, the Aladdin game, well, it turns out it's the diamond in the rough, in my opinion. It's hands down the best game of the 5 I've covered. Not to say the others are bad. I still had fun playing Pinocchio, the Jungle Book, and even The Lion King again, but it's just... oh, those damn hippo tails. Yeah, well, one praise I can give to every single one of these games, though, is their 16-bit renditions of classic Disney songs, man. I mean, they're all just mwah, just spot on. At least that's something each game was consistent with. So now I've covered a plethora of movie adaptations. Some are actually pretty great. Not just as game adaptations of classic films, but just as solid games in general. While others, they're certainly there. Yeah, there's still one more I want to discuss though. And for that, we're gonna have to get old school. No, not that one. No, that's too old school. Nope, but getting warmer.